Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
I'm thrilled to be joined by Nish Kumar, the presenter of The Mash, the weekly BBC show that hilariously deconstructs the news. Nish, Jacob Rees Mogg, what did you make of his attack on Theresa May's Brexit?
I just want to say, on a professional level, I'm absolutely in awe of Jacob Rees Mogg, genuinely, because there's so many wonderful satirical comedians operating in the world. So John Oliver, Matt Ford, Samantha Bee, but the guy playing Jacob Rees Mogg is the greatest comedian of all time. It's absolutely extraordinary, the way that he sort of affects this kind of bumbling persona as a way of smuggling unpleasant and regressive views into mainstream discourse. Oh, my mind is absolutely blown by the guy. Genuinely incredible.
Future sort of insurgent leader of the Tory party?
Future host of a comedy show, I think. I genuinely believe he's the greatest. It's a total performance. Like, people think Al Murray is a sort of impressive character act, but Al's got nothing on this bloke. I mean, I don't know how he does it.
Now, one of the things he's implied, and some of his other colleagues have implied, is that Theresa May's a bit too timid.
Sure.
You agree?
Well, I mean, her timidity is not going to be helped by her colleagues sort of going on programmes and essentially trashing her. But, yeah, she certainly seems a little bit, you know, she seems a little
Nadine,
concerned.
you're smiling. Do you think she should be bolder?
She's maybe bolder. It's just that I'm not in that group that you just, back the Prime Minister.
I know you back the Prime Minister, but could she be bolder?
Yes. Well... Could you, I don't like to answer this question.
But you don't like this transition. You don't like this transition period.
I think she has a lot.
Have you signed up for the transition?
Well, I don't call it a transition period. I call it an implementation period, where a lot of work is happening and there is a lot going on. She's probably.
Why do you call it? It's a transition for the European Court of Justice is still going to be there. We're still going to have. Free movement. What's the difference?
And it has to be for the very limited time
but
period
let's not forget
necessary.
that we haven't actually negotiated that yet.
No.
I mean, I think it's shocking that we're spending another 3 months negotiating something like that when we still haven't got on to negotiating the trade deal, and that's the EU's responsibility.
Well, we don't yet even know, Nadine, what the government wants from this trade deal, do we?
Well, we know.
Well, we can tee it all up. You know, I mean, the fact is we're not going to be able to decide trade deals while we are in the transition period. I believe that was part of the initial agreement with the EU for Brexit. However, there is no reason why lots of trade deals can't be teed up and ready to go for the minute the transition period's over. That everybody's getting hung up about we can't sign trade deals. It doesn't really matter as long as they're ready to go from day one.
I wasn't really talking about that. I was talking about the fact we don't actually have a vision from the government of what our future trading relationship will the EU be.
And that is where Philip Hammond comes in. That's what he should be doing.
Yeah.
He should be someone who's talking up Brexit, laying out the opportunities for the future.
Yeah. He should have been making that kind of speech.
Exactly
He should have been making that kind of speech at Davos.
I mean, it's almost as if somebody should have had these conversations before the referendum. I'm just saying, it's a little bit late in the day to suddenly be like, no one has done any work!
I don't think that's actually true. I mean, I know you're making a joke out of it, but it's not actually true, because it's very clear people wanted to leave the EU. That means all the things that we've talked about, the customs union and the internal market. It also means that we are going to be like most of the rest of the world, apart from those countries that are in the EU. You make your own trading decisions, you make your own laws, you make your own life.
Your own borders.
You know, it's as if somehow without the EU we're this tiny, shrinking, little, dreadful country. It's shocking.
I'm not saying that
It's shocking.
Now, I think Allegra, somebody's speaking to you on social media, is that right?
Perhaps. It is my lot in life on Sunday mornings to scour the Twitter sphere for insightful comment. I found these three for you. Can't believe Peston had on 4 Remain guests this week. Typical BBC bias, couldn't agree more. What a great show, so many interesting guests, and the presenter, Allegra Stratton, is so good. Best in the business, isn't she, Robert? And then this one for you, Nish. Delays on M6 northbound within Junction 20, eastbound access to Peston blocked.
The traffic around Peston is always absolutely appalling.
It's always rush hour with Peston, isn't it?
It certainly is. Are you excited by Piers' interview with Trump?
Oh, yeah, I absolutely can't wait for it. It's going to be like Frost Nixon, but remade with Adam Sandler and Will Ferrell. I mean, he seems to have got the exclusive information that Donald Trump isn't a feminist, which I actually could have got by not talking to Donald Trump.
Nadine, Donald Trump almost put himself forward as Britain's Brexit negotiator. He said he could have done a much better job than the Prime Minister.
Well, I completely endorse what Natalie said. Donald Trump seems to think he can do most things better than most people most of the time, so I don't think we pay too much attention to that.
He did become American president, though, so he did achieve something quite big, Nadine.
One day, when all this is over, we'll look at this and go, how? How did that happen?
But at the same time, Robert, he is actually standing up for his own country. And I think there's a lot of people out there watching who would like to think that our Prime Minister, our Leader of the Opposition, our politicians are actually standing up for our country in the way that sometimes we may not like what he says, but at least you know that he's from America.
He's standing up for some of the people in his country.
Well, he's standing
up for the white people in his country.
Well, but ironically, where in some of the states where the poorest people are and the jobs, that's where he got most of his support, because he's talking about bringing back jobs to those areas.
Yeah, but that's a complete fallacy.
If you look at the map of America and where his votes came from, I mean, he just walked it.
It was so obvious.
Nish, I mean, the problem with those, I think, made-up tweets, at least I hope they were made up, is that they weren't too chillingly accurate. They're too chillingly close to the truth. How do you do a programme like The MASH, given that, frankly, the truth is usually weirder, funnier than fiction?
Yeah, I mean, we're sort of struggling to keep pace with how out of hand things are getting, and I think the only thing that you can do is sort of, with the traditional roots of satire, it was because politicians behaved in a sort of dry, discernibly adult way, and so you had to try and turn that into something silly or ridiculous. And I think the thing to do now is to take these kind of silly, ridiculous, cartoonish figures and to take them very seriously, to sort of invert the key paradigm of satire.
I mean, talking about silliness, so, you know, as you say, there's been this story for a few days about Gavin Williamson snogging a colleague a few years ago. It's been described as an Arga saga because it turns out that the company he was working for was Arga. Now, is it, to coin a phrase, a storm in a fireplace or storm in a fireplace? No smoke without a fire. I don't know. I've got all that. That was something I can't have got it right.
Something's on fire.
How we got to the heart of the matter? That was the joke I was looking for. Anyway, we got there in the end. God, I'm an idiot. Now, do you think this is going to get worse for him?
Fundamentally, the substance of this story is that Gavin Williamson leaked no intelligence. That's the substance of the issue, and therefore he has done nothing wrong. As I back Gavin. I know you think I'm a Boris supporter. I am. I'm a supporter of my colleagues, and I want to back Gavin because I think this is an unnecessary story.
You've done your job now. Thanks to Jacob, Gina, Natalie, Nish.